The room went silent when my mother rose in the second row. Cameras aimed at me. My name behind the podium, while Ella's hand clung to mine. Doreen Hale smiled. "I'm her mother," she said. I didn't turn. In my pocket, my phone felt like ice. Holding the screenshot, she thought I'd deleted the family WhatsApp group message inviting everyone to Mother's Day dinner except me. All my children are successful. Except you. I no longer see you as my daughter. I never confronted her. I moved away. Few years later, she followed me here. She was about to hear it back. 4 years ago, the night before Mother's Day, my phone buzzed at 11 p.m. The AC rattled in the window like it was trying to keep up with my thoughts. I had papers spread across my kitchen table and a pen in my hand. But the moment I saw Maya's name, I stopped breathing. She didn't bother with small talk. "Alice, check the family WhatsApp group right now." "What happened?" My voice came out thin. "I'm sorry," she said. "Your mom had you removed, and she posted something. You need to see it before tomorrow." I opened WhatsApp and typed the group name with shaking thumbs. Nothing. I scrolled through my chats anyway, like I could force it to reappear. The thread was gone. Not muted. Gone. Like I'd never been part of it. I refreshed twice. Still waiting for a glitch. The kitchen felt too quiet. Just the low hum of the AC and the little tick of the clock above the stove. My hands were so cold I had to rub my fingers together to make them move. Then my phone chimed. Screenshot. Then another. It was my mom, Doreen Hale, sending a message in the family WhatsApp group inviting everyone to Mother's Day dinner, except me. A neat, confident announcement. A time. A place. 7 p.m. Be on time. And then, like she was proud of it, the line that made my stomach flip. All my children are successful. Except you. I stared at those words until the screen blurred. I could taste something metallic, like I'd bitten my tongue. My heartbeat got loud in my ears. The next line finished the job, calm and cruel in the same breath. You chose to be a lowly teacher, and I no longer see you as my daughter. I read it once, twice. The letters didn't soften. They didn't turn into a misunderstanding. They just sat there, bright and permanent, under her message. Vanessa replied with a heart emoji. Grant wrote, "Understood. No one asked why. No one said my name. No one messaged me privately to check if I was okay. Maya was the only one who treated me like I still existed. I saved them," she whispered. "I didn't want you to be gaslit later." My thumb hovered over the call button on my mom's contact like it weighed 10 pounds. I could already hear her voice, already see her turning it around on me, sensitive, dramatic, ungrateful. You can't argue with a verdict someone already announced to the whole room. By 11:30 p.m., my decision was simple. I turned off WhatsApp notifications, set my phone face down on the table, and let the silence do what my voice would never fix. I did not confront her. Mother's Day morning hit different. My phone was dead quiet. No you coming. No fake miss you. Not even a dry thumbs up from Grant. Just a blank lock screen. Like I'd already been cut out. I made coffee and it tasted burned. The AC hummed while I stared at my hands and waited for the rage to show up. Instead, I got something colder. Recognition. This wasn't a one-time slip. It was the end of a pattern I'd been ignoring. The kind of family gaslighting that makes you apologize for wanting respect. Thanksgiving a while back. I walked into my mom's dining room with a casserole dish warm in my hands. The main table was set with crystal and candles, name cards lined up like trophies. Mine was on a wobbly folding table in the corner with the little kids. My mom didn't even blink. She adjusted her jewelry and said, "You don't mind?" "Right. You're great with children. I was grown, and she still sat me like I was extra. Then her birthday dinner. I called to ask what time we were meeting up, and she hit me with, "Oh, honey. The restaurant only has 6 seats." She listed names like it was a guest list, not a family. Dad, Vanessa, Grant, his wife, and one more. Not me. "You understand," she said, smooth as butter. I hung up staring at my reflection in the microwave door. Christmas was the pettiest. I gave her something I made myself, soft and careful, and she smiled like I'd handed her homework. "How handmade," she said, then spent forever hyping Vanessa's designer gift. Months later, I found mine shoved in the coat closet, still wrapped, tissue paper stiff and untouched. The smell of her old perfume trapped in that closet made my stomach flip. So when Mother's Day came and nobody reached out, it wasn't surprising, it was confirmation. That WhatsApp message wasn't just mean, it was policy. And my siblings were totally fine with it. No cap. That night, Maya called again, voice low. "She's telling people you're overseas," she said. "Like you're teaching for some charity thing so nobody asks why you're never around." I laughed, but it scraped my throat. My mom didn't want me gone. She wanted me edited, a version she could brag about without admitting she threw away the real one. And if she could rewrite me once, I knew exactly what she'd do the second my real name showed up where she couldn't control it. I didn't pack my life into boxes overnight. I didn't slam doors. I didn't send a long paragraph that would get screenshot and passed around like entertainment. I did the quiet thing people like my mother hate most. I removed access. The next day I woke up and my phone felt heavier than it should. I blocked Doreen's number, then Vanessa's, then Grant's. My thumb hovered over the family chat like muscle memory. Then I deleted the thread. Not the screenshots, those stayed, but the live line to their opinions gone. I changed my routine on purpose. I stopped driving past places where I might accidentally run into them. I stopped checking social media the way you pick at a scab. I went to work, taught my kids, graded papers at my kitchen table with the smell of cheap coffee and lemon cleaner in the air, and I let the silence stretch. Some nights I'd stare at the ceiling and think, maybe I'm being dramatic, maybe I should call. Then I'd hear her line again, clean and cold. "I no longer see you as my daughter." My throat would tighten like my body was trying to swallow that sentence whole. That's what people don't get about cutting off your own mother. It isn't one big, brave moment. It's 100 small moments where you choose self-respect over that old craving to be picked. A year into my quiet, I met Ethan. He didn't ask me to explain myself like I was on trial. He just showed up. He brought his daughter, Ella, into my life the same way he brought everything else, steady and real. On nights when my thoughts got loud, Ella would fall asleep on the couch with her head on my leg, warm and heavy, and it would remind me what unconditional looks like. I built from there. I took on more responsibility at work, the kind that meant meetings, hard conversations, and being the person who stays calm when everyone else is losing it. When Ethan and I married, I became Ella's legal mom the right way. Paperwork, waiting, a judge signing off in a quiet courtroom while Ella swung her feet and grinned at me like she already knew. I didn't post about any of it. I didn't send updates. I just calmly moved away. And then, right when I started believing they'd never find me again, my name showed up where they couldn't ignore it. The thing about disappearing is, you start to believe you're invisible on purpose. Like you finally learned how to live without needing anyone's approval. And then one random Tuesday, you open your inbox at work and your whole past kicks the door in. The subject line said I'd been selected for a statewide honor. Not a gold star kind of thing, a real one. An award ceremony with cameras, a room full of educators, and my name printed on a program like it belonged there. I stared at it so long, my eyes started to burn. I was 38. I'd spent 4 years building a life so quiet my own mother couldn't spin it. 2 days later, Maya called me, breathless. "Okay, don't freak out," she said, "but your name is circulating." "Where?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "In the family group," she said. "Someone posted the announcement, and now your mom's acting like she discovered you." That night, an email landed in my inbox with a subject line that made my stomach drop. From Doreen Hale. It opened like we'd spoken yesterday. "My dearest Alice, I saw the wonderful news. I always knew you had it in you. We should all be together for Mother's Day. It would mean so much. Not one sentence about the WhatsApp message. Not one apology. Not even a half-hearted. I was wrong. Just a sudden grab for closeness, like she was reaching for a prop. Then Vanessa called from a number I didn't recognize, voice sweet in that fake soft way. "Mom hasn't been herself," she said. "She misses you. We all do." I waited. The silence on my end was doing the work for me. Grant tried next. He didn't even pretend it was emotional. "You know this is getting attention," he said, from a PR standpoint. "It's better if we look united." There it was. Not love, not regret. Branding. I wish I could tell you I didn't wobble. I did. For 1 minute. My brain went right back to being trained. Maybe I should keep the peace. Maybe I'm the one being harsh. Ethan watched me across our kitchen table like he could see the whole argument happening behind my eyes. "Come here," he said. He opened his laptop and pulled up a folder he'd kept for years. Simple labels, proof, payments, bills, screenshots with dates. He wasn't being dramatic, he was being careful. The way you get when you know someone will try to rewrite history. Then he showed me the newest one Maya had sent. A screenshot from the family WhatsApp group, dated the day before. My mom was calling my award an opportunity. She had a plan. They were going to arrive early, sit in the family section, and make sure cameras caught the Hale name next to mine. Vanessa asked if she should bring flowers. Grant called it a good move. Nobody asked if I wanted them there. My chest went hot. Then, weirdly calm. A few minutes later, my phone rang again. This time it was Dr. Nora Bennett. Her voice was steady, professional. "I need to flag something," she said. "Someone contacted the ceremony coordinator. Your mother requested to speak during the family remarks portion." My grip tightened. "Did they approve it?" Dr. Nora said. I shut it down. "If you wanted her involved, you would have told me. I'm not letting anyone hijack your moment." When I hung up, I looked at Ethan and realized the truth that made everything click. They didn't want me back. They wanted the version of me they could show off. "So," Ethan said quietly, "what do you want to do?" I exhaled once. Slow. "I'm going to let them come," I said, "and I'm going to thank my family." "Which family?" he asked. I looked at Ella's homework on the counter, at Ethan's hand on the table, at the life that actually showed up for me. "The real one," I said, "and if my mother tries to walk on that stage anyway, I'm going to make her listen to her own words." The hall was dead quiet, like everyone forgot how to breathe. The camera light blinked red. My name filled the backdrop behind the podium, and my palms were slick against the wood. I didn't turn. I smelled her first. Expensive perfume, loud on purpose. Doreen Hale stood in the second row, smiling like this was her moment. Vanessa sat beside her, camera ready. Grant looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. A staff member checked a clipboard and said, "Immediate family is front row only." Ethan didn't move. Ella's hand stayed wrapped around my finger. My mother's smile tightened when she realized the name cards weren't for her. Dr. Nora introduced me without ever mentioning my mother. She talked about classrooms, kids, and the work that doesn't come with applause. Then she pointed to Ethan and Ella. The camera followed her hand, not Doreen. I stepped up. "Thank you," I said, and kept it clean. "Colleagues, mentors, students." Then I hit the part my mother had already planned to hijack. "I want to thank my family," I said, and I felt her sit taller behind me. I looked at Ethan, my husband. I looked at Ella, my daughter, and I stopped. The silence after that was brutal. Heels scraped. Of course. Alice. My mother called, sweet and wounded. "I'm your mother. Let me speak." She started toward the aisle. The security guard shifted closer. I didn't raise my voice. I turned just enough for the microphones to catch me. "Doreen," I said, 4 years ago, in the family WhatsApp group, you wrote, "You chose to be a lowly teacher, and I no longer see you as my daughter." I'm honoring the boundary you set. The room went sharp and still. My mother froze. The guard guided her back to her seat. Calm and professional. No scene. Just a hard stop. Applause started slow, then spread. Not for drama, for boundaries. After photos, they caught me in the hallway. Doreen hissed, "You embarrassed me on camera." I held up my phone. The screenshot glowed. "Those were your words," I said. Grant tried. "This is bad PR." "I'm not your PR," I said. Vanessa snapped. "We came to support you. You came for a picture," I said. "Support doesn't start with deleting me." Ethan's hand touched my back. Ella slid her fingers into mine. I didn't argue anymore. I just walked away with my family. And for once, I didn't feel like I was leaving something behind. Weeks passed, and the fallout came the way real life does, slow and unavoidable. Maya would call with little updates I never asked for but somehow needed. My mother stopped showing up at her usual social lunches. People started asking why her closest daughter didn't sit with her at the ceremony, why the cameras never found her, why I called her by her first name like she was a stranger. Vanessa went quiet online. Grant stopped answering Maya's texts altogether. One afternoon, about 2 months later, an envelope showed up in my mailbox with my name written in handwriting I could recognize blindfolded. I sat at my kitchen table for a long time with it under my palm, listening to the soft clink of dishes as Ethan cleaned up dinner. Ella patted in wearing socks, leaned against my leg, and slid her fingers into mine like it was normal. The letter didn't ask for a photo. It didn't mention Mother's Day. It didn't demand I come back and fix her. It just admitted what she'd done and named it wrong. I folded it once, then again, and put it in a drawer, not as forgiveness, as proof that my life belonged to me now.
Looking at Ali's story from the outside, it's clear the real wound wasn't just one cruel message. It was a family culture, where love had to be earned through titles, money, and how good everyone looked to strangers. In Darren's world, being a teacher wasn't a calling. It was an embarrassment. So she didn't just exclude Alice from Mother's Day dinner. She tried to erase her from the narrative, like deleting a chat that could delete a daughter. What makes Alice's response powerful is how grounded it is. She didn't trace an apology that wasn't being offered. She didn't explode in public to prove she was heard. She chose the hardest boundary: quiet distance. That kind of distance wasn't coldness. It's self-protection. When the people closest to you keep moving the goalposts. And notice the psychology of the comeback attempt. The moment Alice's achievements became public, the same people who called her lowly suddenly wanted cameras, photos, and a front row claim. That's not reconciliation. That's a reputation management. So here's a question for you. If your family only celebrates you when your success makes them look good, is that love or a transaction? And if you were Alice, could you have let them to rewrite history just to keep the peace? The lesson is simple. Money isn't everything, and status isn't a substitute for warmth. Real family shows up when there's nothing to gain. She chose meaning, and it chose her back. Alice built that kind of family, and that's a win no paycheck can measure.